Hey there, and welcome to Comedians on Technology, People and Drugs. I'm, as always, your host, Sam Joseph, and today we're very lucky to have comedian Adam Cleveland with us. Hey, Adam, it's really great to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks, Joe. Joe, Sam, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. And yeah, it's weird. I've got these like two first names. A lot of people do
Yeah.
call me Joe or Joseph. It's all good. It's all good. Now, Adam, you're a very funny person, and I
Thank
think
you.
the listener, and often they say on podcasts and radio, you should talk to the listener as if there's only one, and we maybe only have only one. Which this week I'm going to call Nigel, and I think Nigel is beside himself, wanting to try and understand your comedy origin story. Was it that you were a sort of a extraterrestrial, cuisine specialist, and you sort of hooked up with a group of ragtag Federation comedy folks trying to get back from the other side of the galaxy? How did it all kick off?
Close. That was close. But no, well, I went to. So I had a weird. I guess I had a weird upbringing. I went to uh, primary school. I went to a normal mainstream school, and then I got sent to a special school for. So I've got various dyslexia, and I was around a lot of people that had special needs. And then when I went to college, I went back to like a normal stream college.
Mm,
And then when I got to college, everyone was laughing like with me about stories from when I was at special school, and
mm,
it just like made me feel good. And I'd been watching stand up for a long time, and I remember at 17, I was just like, oh, I want to give this a go.
hmm.
So I did Downstairs at the King's Head when I was 17,
Wow, yeah, cool.
um, and I went in, and the first thing I said was like, 17 years old, got drinking the bit, drinking the on, got drinking the establishment. That's on
Yeah.
stage. Got a laugh. Da, da, da. And I was like, that was amazing. That was great. I called up again, and then they were like, you can't come back until you're 18.
Oh.
And then I didn't do it again. I didn't do it again until I was 20, and I did it at Lions Den. And
Hmm.
then, yeah, I met Oliver Moore,
Hmm.
Callum, who I know you've had on your show,
Yeah.
Dom Fraser, Will Keeley, Diesel. And we all just kind of bullied in each other to keep doing it, you know?
Brilliant. Yeah. Well, interesting that you mentioned doing downstairs at the King's Head at 17. When we had Matthew Alley on the show, and I think he
Mm.
also, with his brother, did it at 17 downstairs at the King's Head. Yeah, right. And I mean, it's that's really interesting. Yeah, and then we had Callum McIver on the show, and yeah, he was shouting out yourself, Diesel, Ollie Moore, and so on. And we thought we've got to get the crew
Yeah.
on the show. Yeah, fantastic. And so you saying you were watching a lot of stand up, I guess as a teenager, and
Yeah.
like yeah,
Well,
go on.
honestly, I was like the first iPad generation.
Okay.
So I was watching Russell Howard's Good News at like 9, just in
Mm,
my bedroom
right.
on BBC iPlayer. So I watched stand up from like a really young age. I think like, I was watching loads, and like I've all like my favorite TV show as a child was like Horrible Histories,
Right. Right.
and I think that was like probably my first taste of anything comedy wise.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, as that, and then go like my parents would always have TV stuff or like comedy stuff on, like Everybody Loves Raymond and
Hmm.
Cheers and
Yeah.
For Only Fools and Horses, and then like learning that, I was like, oh, they're like that's acting, and then
Mm,
learning you didn't have to be an actor. When I saw Russell Howard's Good News, you could just talk on stage.
right.
That's it just seemed amazing.
Yeah, that is a great description of what I do. I talk on stage. It's kind of like stand-up
Yeah,
conversation, nobody laughing. It's yeah, I'm working on getting people to really chuckle at occasional
yeah.
points.
The
Even
laughter
mine.
is the hard bit, you know. You have to be like it. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I understand why you're not laughing. I wouldn't either.
Remarkable. And so I guess sort of watching it, you were seeing the people on the iPads and so on. To tell us a little bit more about at that 17, like for most people, like the idea of standing up in front of a group of people and trying to make them laugh and being so exposed like that is kind of an anathema. Was that at 17, did you have to really steel yourself to do it? Or was there something about what you'd seen that made you feel, well, this is anybody can do this?
Well, I I thought like a lot of people, I'm guessing, like I wasn't funny until I got to college,
Hmm.
and I was doing tree surgery at college,
Hmm.
learning to be a tree surgeon, and I just remembered like halfway through this thinking, I fucking hate this.
Hmm.
I'd done this for 2 years.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm going to be a tree surgeon. I didn't know. And then like and I was like, well, I want to get out of this. So I started looking at other jobs, and I
Right.
realized like I was going to get to do water sports. I was going to teach kayaking and sailing,
Oh yeah.
and I ended up doing. I still do that now, and that's my main job.
Mm.
But I was just like, well, that seems like a. I watched so much of this. Like that, this does seem like an escape route out of this.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
seems like a way out. And so I started listening to it, and I like even that first time doing it was great. Like fucking, I had a great set. It was fun. I'm sure if I went and watched it now, I'd cringe
Hmm.
internally on how bad I was on stage. But it was great. Everyone was really supportive there. I think the King's Head is such a nice place,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I've done it a bunch since, and it's all like I've never had a bad gig there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think also like when I was at college, people told me I was funny for the
Right.
first time ever,
Yes. Yes.
and that was the big thing. Like I'd make people laugh in the room, and make the teachers would laugh as well, which was
Uh,
when
yeah.
you're at like the when I was at a special school, there was like loads of other kids, and they were really funny,
Hmm.
but maybe not on purpose, maybe on purpose, and I was
Sure.
laughing at them
Hmm.
more than they would ever laugh at me. You know.
Okay. Yes.
So
Yes.
then, like, yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And well, it reminds me. Actually, the last episode, Damiette, was telling us about how over the years, many people told him he was funny and that he should try stand up. And I was being jealous of him as I am of you because no one's ever told me that I should do stand up. They're usually just telling me I should stop, but I just well, I'm doing it despite them. But yeah, no, well that's fantastic. So you had a great first gig, and obviously then that thing you like they said, oh, you can't come back until you're 18. But so it was then another 3 years before you tried it again. I mean, was there?
Yeah. So I moved to the Isle of Wight
Oh yeah.
um, when I was uh, 18. So I did one more year of college. And I moved to the Isle of Wight.
Hmm.
Um, and when I came back from the Isle of Wight, it was COVID.
Right.
So
Okay.
like I always had in the back of my mind to do it again, but then
Yes.
2 years of COVID and I was 20.
Right. Okay. So yeah, no, that completely explains that. And then so coming back to the Lions Den after a 3 years break, how was the first gig there? Was that just as good as the as downstairs
Um,
King said?
no, it was dreadful. It was horrible. I like the Lions Den is a different place now than
Yes.
what it was 2022.
Yeah.
It's a completely set like new thing. It's not. It's in a different venue. It's in North Greenwich, North Clapham.
Yeah.
It's not
Right.
anything to do with the old lines there. But no, it was awful. There was one act where I won't say the name, but he in the queue because you used to have to queue for Lions Den.
Right.
I used to stand outside in the rain
Mm.
all year round, or so hot, whatever. You used to queue
Yes.
from when I started. You had to get there at 4:30.
Right.
The gig doesn't start till half eight, until
Mm.
eight, until eight. So you're 4 hours waiting around
Yeah.
for a 5 minute spot.
Hmm.
And the first time I turned up, the guy in the queue was just like, Nick. I had a sticker on my skateboard,
Yes.
and I just got rinsed the shit out of me for having a skateboard, having this sticker on the skateboard.
Mhm.
And I was like, this, I'm already bombing off stage these group of guys. Um, and then, but I came back the next time. I had this terrible, my first joke was this terrible story about my brother killing a cat,
Oh.
um, which I won't tell you the story because I'm not even repeat that joke again. But yeah, I went back and then just kept on doing it. I just don't know why, even though I was like, I've been funny before, I can be funny again, you know?
Right, right. You were kind of
Um,
like almost inoculated by that first experience
yeah.
at downstairs at the King's Head, and you didn't want to give up. I mean, yeah, the queue for the Lion's Den has been mentioned on the show before. I think it was possibly Ollie Miller who maybe saw the queue and like just was like, oh, oh, okay, yeah, no, I'll do that. It's
No, really.
yeah, yeah. Like I think he met Dylan Harris in the queue. Both of them have been on the been on the podcast. Yeah, and the Lion's Den. Got, I think I never did it in its old incarnation. I mean, we've had Oggy on the show twice. Actually, he's one of the few guests who've been on the first and the second series, and I remember him talking about it. And it was on a. It was yeah. Was it on a Tuesday originally, or am I getting confused?
It was originally on Tuesday, I believe.
Right,
The Lions Den, before it moved, I think it was going 18 years in the old venue.
right. Which is the one in Piccadilly Circus.
You get the one Piccadilly Circus, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which is a great location.
Their location
But
now no longer a location.
no, it's a weird. There's
Mhm.
lots of weird things going on there. But yeah,
Yeah.
so because I think because when Oggy was first telling me about it, I was running, Sunset. Our gig in Harrow was on a
Yes.
Tuesday night,
Yeah.
and so there was a whole period where I was sort of hearing about it. And actually, from what Oggy said, he was like, basically, look, it's like it's a place that he the way he described it as, I mean, the name Lion's Den, it's basically where comedians go to die. So
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
wasn't really selling it to me. But yes, no, I mean, I've now done the Lion's Den in Clapham and the actually been to the other venue, which is all filling in lots of gaps for me. But yeah, I mean, strange times. But then so, and I think possibly Callum MacIver was saying, yeah, that initially when he first started, he was just doing Lions. That there was a kind of
Yeah.
group
I
of
had
you.
the exact same thing, just 2 Lions Den. Um, and then I met Ollie Moore at Lions Den. I think I met him at his first gig.
Right.
And he was like talking to me, and I was like, I got on with him so well. And
Mm,
then
mm.
I think he was like, took me to do another gig. We did this other gig called Jack's,
Oh yeah.
which is like an open mic, and I think that's in Clapham as well.
Mm, mm.
But that's singing and
Okay.
everything going on there.
Right.
And we used to do that. We used to do Jack's on a Monday, Lions Den on a Tuesday, and then on the Sunday do the Vauxhall Gong Show.
Right.
We did. There were other gigs like pursed in there, but for a good 6 months, that was every week.
Right. Right. And then yeah, because I think somebody, I'm forgetting now who was saying it, was saying whether it was just possibly it was Callum, just Lions Den. But from what you described there, you were gradually, like making a network and discovering lots of other places. And so then as it basically you'd caught the bug, and was it then, getting as many gigs in as possible until now? How has it evolved since then?
Yeah, yeah, basically as many gigs as possible. Like I would say I'm a little bit more selective now.
Mm.
But yeah, still as many gigs as possible. Getting better gigs as it's gone on, which is nice. It's always feels like progression.
Hmm.
Um, doing as many of the gong, like doing the gong show still a bit, like
Yeah.
which I think gong shows are such a important part of London's the London scene, especially.
Mm. Hmm.
They really frame a lot of our comedians.
Indeed. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
in the
oh, go on.
in the basis of like if you watch a lot of comedians, and I this is definitely how I started. I don't know if it's still how I am now, but when like I think it pushes a lot. When a comedian tells me they hate gong shows,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, I get that, but you didn't try and write for one.
Mm, mm.
Like I like I was going on stage before I did gong shows, going "Wah, wah, 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 wah," jumping around the place, like shouting, saying
Right.
funny things about telling stories, but with no punchlines or
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
jokes or like callbacks or anything that made a structure of a joke.
Mm,
Whereas now, I think if you write a solid set, anyone can get for a gong show. If you write a set
mm,
that has punchy, quick jokes, and it does teach you how to write a set.
mm.
But I also think the detriment of gong show is you have like now a generation of comedians that maybe start sounding a bit the same
Mm,
because they're
mm.
writing quick, punchy jokes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just did Up the Creek Blackout on
Mm.
Thursday for the eighth time, and once again did not get past the 2 minutes. I've Yeah, but I hear exactly what you're saying about the writing for it. I mean, I think on number seven, I thought because I at the time when I went the seventh time, and I had a set which was a series of the very short stories with clear punchlines that have been doing very well in other rooms, but didn't.
Mm.
But I think partly it's yeah, I get too nervous. at gong shows, and then that I think just doesn't, whatever energy I'm giving off, which some people like at other places, it doesn't work at gong shows. But I guess my next theory, right? The next two ways I'm going to try gong shows is one is just become one liner. It's just I mean I've been writing like 10 like one liners a day for like I've got like about 5,000 now. I mean most of them are absolute trash, but I'm feeling like if I can just get like for I'm going to give up on trying to like express my personality in a gong show and just write, okay, can I take like the 20 or 30 best one-liners that have been polished and just read them out verbatim and see if I can get through.
Yeah,
Or
I'm sure like one-liners definitely have an easier time getting through gong shows.
I think so. I think so. We'll see. Or my other idea is that I'll just do a 2 minute like sort of guided meditation with people and try and like just sit down and sort of try and be in sort of Zen oneness or something. I don't know. Even as a sort of performance art thing, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow, good stuff. Well, yeah, thanks for sharing your comedy origin story and sort of following on from there. I mean, let's move on to our second question, which is about how technology is affecting your life and comedy. And as I often say at this point, I mean, technology, pencil and paper is a technology. The Memory Palace, like ways in which you remember your sets, that they're all forms of technology. But of course, so is social media and AI and video recordings and Zooms and all of these kind of things. And we are lousy with technology these days. There's new stuff coming out all the time. I'm really interested to know, you've already mentioned the iPads, how technology's been affecting your life and also your comedy. I'm kind of really interested in how, you evolve your comedy, and is technology involved in that in any way?
Um, I I will. Yeah. So, of course, comedy's involved. Like technology and comedy, of course, they make because it
Yeah.
makes complete sense. Like from even when people were doing video, I never did one, but those video comedy things in Zoom,
Right, right.
like that was a massive thing for comedy. And in my like, and every time I've heard about one, they sounded people didn't like them. They were really hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet that's eventually will come.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but for me personally and comedy, uh, well, the phone distracts me from writing stuff, for writing new jokes
Mm.
completely. Like I'm sure it distracts everyone. You can like you go to
Yeah.
you say I'm going to write some stuff down, and you don't write anything down. You just
Mm.
scroll for half an hour
Mm-hmm.
or 6 hours as it may be, depending on the person.
Uh,
Um, and then with like actual technology, it's like I guess the phone also in the room, people in the room. One of the like um sets at the lines then that I remember like really specifically, a lady got out her laptop
mm.
as I'm on stage and she was making like clearly editing an email for someone
Uh-huh.
in like the third row back.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, I'm that like an email is like I'm not I'm not good enough to be as distracting from an email. Like I like it's not even like you're flicking for Instagram or something. You're
Right,
like, oh,
right.
I really need to reply to this. Um, it was just like the most insulting heckle I ever had without having to say anything.
Oh dear.
Um, and like I think the like, the Meta glasses
Oh yeah.
that people are filming
Yes.
stuff on. I went into a show recently and I realized someone was wearing them in the audience.
Oh really?
And I was like, that's horrifying. I'm not going to do this. I tried
Really?
to tell someone and they didn't really care.
Mm.
I don't want to do that. So I think there's lots of stuff going on. The Another one for me is like Instagram. From all I've heard, is the future of getting your stuff out online and getting to be a full time pro comedian.
Mm-hmm.
And that I wish that wasn't the case.
Mm.
So I think the next thing for me as a comedian going forward is just start filming more stuff and putting it out and
Mm-hmm.
being repetitive on your algorithm,
Mm.
which I don't love. I don't love that feeling. I
No.
like stand up because of the liveness of
Yeah.
it being live. Um, but I want to make my career, I guess. So keep
Yeah,
going.
it
Got
is
to put
it
stuff out.
it does seem to be, it's a very strong story at the moment that says, that's a way, and that kind of like it's a way to bypass the gatekeepers, because to get into the clubs that have regular good audiences, there are all these gatekeepers who, you've got to like, who knows what the tricks are. I mean, or not tricks. I mean, you just, you're competing with lots of very, very other very, very funny people.
Mm.
And the idea with Instagram that you can sort of connect to directly to other people that kind of
Yeah.
like you is, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I was speaking to Vinny Chu, and he was talking about, I think, Reese Kidd, who I think is up to like 100,000 or so on
Yeah.
Instagram, and I mean he started about the same time as us, and was at a similar, I mean,
Mm.
yeah, and I think, I mean, he's been doing lots of, I mean, I think it's not the case that he's like been magically, got the Instagram followers and the success game. I think he's been doing like lots of things in parallel with his own club and with his, I think what Vinny was talking to me about the other day, which I mentioned on the podcast before, is about how Reese is like, he's not just putting bits of his material on Instagram, but he's sort of talking to the camera, and he's sort of like doing chat. It's I don't know what the
Yeah.
word
Yeah.
is. It's like
I
selfie videos. Go on.
re did like I Reese's Instagram is very impressive, and his special came out recently, and he's doing really well, and it's really it's quite nice. It's like, someone I started with, I know they're doing really well. Same as Diesel.
Right.
You've seen Diesel. Diesel was on the BBC recently,
Wow.
so I think it's very nice. Like watching other people do stuff. I thought when I was like younger and stand up, like, I can't believe someone's got more than me. But I'm like,
Yeah.
it doesn't actually bother me. They're not doing my jokes.
Yeah. Oh well,
Um,
that's great to hear. I mean, I mean, we had we moved Sunset to Friday night, and we had a show just this Friday past, and we had Nicky G on as the headliner. I don't know if you've seen him
I
recently,
know
but
Nikki, yeah, he's really good.
yeah, I mean, I remember he came to Sunset, 2 years previously as he was starting out, just and like the sort of transformation in 2 years is extraordinary. I mean, I think he's doing amazing, and I have absolutely mixed feelings in that I'm kind of like, it's fantastic, and he's a lovely guy, and I think he deserves all credit and all success. But I am also extraordinarily jealous. I'm like, wow, I wish I could put together as reliable a 10 as he seems to be doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that is something like, like Ollie Moore. Even now when he comes up, some of the jokes he comes up with, I'm just like, how did you come up with that? That's amazing.
Yeah.
He's got, I don't know, he's got some Ridwan Hussein
Yes,
is
yes.
probably the best writer on the circuit, or on my level at least. Like, he's fantastic of writer, and
Yeah.
like he's thrown away jokes I would be desperate to have. I speak to him about it all the time. I'm like, why aren't you doing that? Um,
Yeah, we're trying
but
to get go on.
the jealousy thing is like, I think goes into the whole like Instagram. You're seeing these people do really well.
Mm, mm.
It's like you watch everyone do really well, and I think if you focus on that, you'll just become bitter instead of funny.
Oh, oh yes, yeah. No, it's clear. It's
And
clearly, you don't
that's
go on.
another one of the problems with Instagram. Is like, everyone has that. Teenage girls have that. Um, so yeah, I think Instagram's good, as you're saying. Like, you get into the way to break in, but I also think, I wish I didn't have to do that.
No, no, I agree. Like I like what you're saying about the live. It's the live performance. Like I mean, I don't mind doing a bit of stuff on Instagram. To be honest, I generally would prefer to post a still than a video. I mean, it's getting they're gradually making it easier to do it, but like given a straight choice between, do you want to perform live or do you want to?
Yeah,
I would much rather perform live.
yeah, and you're burning material as well, aren't you? Like when you post stuff.
Maybe. I mean, well, that's a discussion we haven't touched on for a while. But I think it was, there was an extent to which back in the day, maybe that was the case. But yeah, I don't know if that's if it's being burnt in quite the same way. Like back in the day, if you for example, if you were going on a big TV show and there was going to be like 5 million audience, and you then did that joke, that could I think this is what the old argument is, that then because you'd be exposing that joke to so many people, then when you're going to clubs around the country, they all have already heard the punchline, so it's not going to be as big a laugh. But but at least for you and I, the number
Yeah,
of people who are going to see what we do on Instagram, I don't know how much it's
it's
really.
less, but
Yeah,
you're trying to get a following, and the people you're trying to get to follow you come to the shows,
yeah.
and you're doing what they've seen on their socials. I feel like it. Maybe you're right. Maybe like it isn't burnt. I can see what they mean, but
I think it's at least, I mean, I'm sure all these things have an impact. I mean, I think this is what I mean. This is sort of like hearsay, but I think sometimes the people there's an extent with, I mean, just like, again, shout out to Nicky G, I've heard his, his 10 now a number of times, and it's not, I mean, I'm just really enjoying him. I mean, I think that's the, I mean, I think Callum McKenzie is similar. There's sometimes the really great jokes, you just want to hear them again, and I think part of that following that you can get potentially is, they're seeing your jokes on Instagram, and then they want to come and, they want to come to the show, and they want to hear some of the classics, some of the golden oldies, and they want to hear a few new ones as well. I mean, not that I'm the person who knows about this, but glad you mentioned Ridwan. We're trying to get him on the podcast as well. I've been watching him for a long time. It's yeah, and Ollie Moore as well. I hope we can get him on. I was very impressed with it. I think he closed the first half at Hood Rats, I think, when I last saw you. I mean, you also, I think, really smashed it that night. But yeah, Ollie came on and did a whole stuff about Pokemon and everything. It was really,
Yeah,
really
he's fantastic. He's absolutely fantastic.
yeah, brilliant stuff. And then so are you, kind of like, I mean, I guess you're like everybody. You always got your phone with you. You're trying to write little notes on the thoughts and stuff, and trying to like develop material. But the Instagram or scrolling, whatever, can be distracting. You're recording yourself at gigs and watching yourself back.
Yeah, I record myself. Yeah, all that stuff, all the stuff everyone's doing.
Mm, mm.
Um, yeah. So I do best if I was trying to write, I would do best if I put my phone in the other room.
Right, right.
So
Yeah.
that, and like, I've never been on Instagram or
Mm.
what YouTube and thought, wow, I'm inspired to write a joke from that.
Right, right, right.
I might have been if I'm like, I don't know, walking around looking at stuff and talking to a
Yeah.
friend,
Yes.
but it's never happened over me watching Instagram Reels.
No, no, I'm sure. Yeah, yeah. And then do you have a kind of a process? Is it like, are you trying to allocate a certain amount of time to writing each day, or are you reviewing old
Uh,
material? Or is it just, I mean, and no pressure. I mean, it's like, I think there's no judgment zone here. I'm just interested in what the overall process looks like, and to what extent, any kinds of special technology are involved.
well, I technology wise, I well, I voice record stuff to myself sometimes.
Oh
So I
yeah.
use that voice record most of my sets, all of
Hmm.
my sets basically, and I will listen to them back, especially if I've like riffed on stage.
Mm.
I think I write a lot of my stuff on stage through
Mm.
riffing.
Hmm.
Um, even if it's just a joke I've done 100 times and just rewording.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, Whereas the rest of the time, like trying to write jokes, I'm a lifeguard as one of parts of one of my main job is I manage a lake, but a
Right.
lot of that is lifeguarding,
Ah.
and so you spend a lot of time, especially in the winter, not lifeguarding, just
Mm.
sitting down in the cold,
Right.
and so I spend a lot of time talking to myself, walking up and down, talking to myself by a lake,
Right.
um, and
Yes.
then I'll note stuff down on my phone if I think the premise is funny.
Yes.
Um, and then I'll try and riff on that on stage.
Yes. Yes. I think Scott Manley Hadley, who we had on, was talking about, he would often be walking the dog and talking to himself and talking
Yeah,
and talking.
talking out loud loads. Just
Yes. 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 Interesting. Yeah. 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 No, cool. Yeah, just like random reconnect back with. I'm just thinking again about the Instagram stuff. Yeah, I want it sort of feels like it maybe it just goes. It feels like there aren't any, there's no secret doors, if you know what I mean. Like it's a bit like, trying to start a business. Like, any way that people can make
yeah,
money, there are people trying to make money that way. And similarly in comedy, any way you can get on, every pathway is going to be filled with
yeah.
competitors. You know what I mean?
Like there's a guy, I won't say his name because I don't know if he wants to be known,
Mm.
but quite a big comedian on our circuit has recently had their Instagram taken down.
Oh, I think I know who you mean. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was looking for him recently because I'd love to have him on the show. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you want to share it about his
No, no,
permission.
no, no, no. But
Yeah,
no, we'll not mention his name.
but
Absolutely. But yeah, I think I know who you mean.
yeah, he's had it taken down for a very inconsequential video,
Mm,
like
mm,
not doing anything too risque at all.
uh-huh.
But he had nearly 10K followers, nearly like
Yeah, yeah.
it was getting quite up there in numbers of followers, and you're like, if it could all go away like that as
Right.
well. So
Yes.
much effort you put into this one thing, and it's
Mm,
doesn't
mm.
exist. It's not real.
Yes, yes, these things can get taken. I mean, it's a very strange world in which we live, in which we're trying to second guess this algorithm and the powers that be that can like then potentially censor us in those things. Yeah, it's. I mean, I'll say on the plus side. I mean, so you know, it was a big up and down week with this, failure at the Gong Show again. But I was just at the Brighton Fringe Festival where I'm doing like a show, which
Nice.
was, I managed. I think I've got quite a nice poster, which has managed to get people into the room. So I've actually been playing to, rooms of reasonable audiences, and I've been saying to I've been doing like what's it like market research at the beginning of the show. I'll say, how did you guys hear about the show? And like, I mean, I'd spent all this money on Instagram ads, and nobody had said that they'd seen me on Instagram. So that was like, oh fuck, I've given all this money to Zuckerberg for no reason.
Yeah.
But at the end of the show, I was saying like the way comedians experience love is by being followed on Instagram. So if you could follow me on Instagram, and actually, I had from both of the last two shows, I had one person, two different people follow me and then sort of comment and start chatting with me, and that and it's like people have talked about before, is it sort of drops in the bucket, but that ability to make that like extra connection with the people after the show, because sometimes in this, like if you've ever done longer shows, you do this and like, whoa, it's amazing, and then they all go away, and you're kind of like, oh, like, and me and my silly brain, I'm kind of like, I just started this conversation with you, I thought that was going to carry on. Of course, they've maybe
Yeah.
towards that, or what have you, but that to have
It,
that connection and then to be able to sort of have it continue with these little threads is really quite nice.
yeah. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I just like it's one of those things. It's like when you're on stage, and it's just kind of connects, but like when you're on stage, whose time is that? Like yours or theirs?
Mm, mm,
And it's kind of like I'm fine giving you my time when it's on stage, and I want to be pleasing you.
mm.
But when I'm off stage,
Oh yeah.
I want my fucking time, you know?
Right, right.
And I don't want to be sitting there posting videos of me. I know it. I'm gonna have to do it. I think that's the way it's going. And I
Mm, mm,
don't want
mm.
to. I don't love Instagram sketches, not because I think they're bad. I just don't think I'm a sketch guy.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people doing sketches, and I think that's fantastic. And a lot of them, like, who can I think of? Like George Wheeler, he did a
Mm.
he I think
Right.
all of his sketches are really funny. Trying to think of some other people that I could name that could do sketches. I'm sure I'm blanking.
No, no worries, man.
But yeah, like people with these sketch Josh Whedon, he does sketches as
Yeah,
well, they're really
yeah.
good. And like they're fantastic. I think they're both quite good at them, but I'm not good at that. So I don't feel good. I filmed one with Ollie and Ridwan, and that might come out at some point.
Mm, mm.
But I remember thinking, oh, that must have been terrible.
No, but I mean, it's good to try these
And
different
it,
things. I think for me personally, like, I think sketch comedy can be great, but for me, the thing that excites me about stand up is learning something real about a person, and the defining thing of a
yeah,
sketch tends to be, oh, someone's had this idea and they've set it up, and we're
yeah,
not really learning anything about the person.
no, no. And you're looking. That's the thing. You're looking at Instagram, and like all the comedians you know from the circuit are posting sketches. And you're like, well, you're funny. What's that about? What does that happen? I don't know.
Well, and it's interesting what you say about like to totally hear what you're saying about like wanting to like on stage I'm happy to give you my time, and then off stage you want to sort of disconnect, which and for me though, what I find is like off stage, and I can tell like Instagram and Facebook, the algorithms, like it's always trying to show me something, it's trying to hook me.
Yeah,
There's a kind of
yeah,
slight desperate, I mean,
constantly.
yeah, there's a kind of a slight desperation, and I mean, I have got to the point where I'm better. Well, I almost never scroll on Facebook now, and Instagram. What I'm really addicted to is the messages. I love the messaging interaction,
Yeah,
and
and
so
that
we're gone.
I think was old school Twitter.
Right.
When Twitter before Musk and thingy, before they
Yeah.
put videos on it, I never used it. I'm not very good at reading and writing, but that seems like what Twitter is.
Hmm.
Like where
Hmm.
you just send a tweet and you're like, "Hey, I really love this show," da, da, da.
Right. Right.
Or in like the opposite, it could be hate, but
Yeah.
it's just words. It's like you
Right.
know,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
I could almost see more of.
Yes.
Almost see as a better version, but I think it's me saying about some money about it is maybe I'm a bit of a slave to my phone, a slave to Instagram and stuff like that.
Right, right.
I'm addicted to it. It addicts me.
Yes.
So I think like the idea that I'm being a part of that, and I'm like,
Right.
you fallen part of my addiction. Come in, join us. Doesn't that feel a
Yeah,
bit,
it's a weird
it
thing,
feels a
isn't
bit
it?
icky?
Yeah, well, it's then are you taking advantage of other people's addictions, which
Yeah.
is then kind of like, I mean, the funny thing for me is what you're saying there about Twitter and so on. Like for me, um, I'm so much more interested in what people send me as a one-to-one message than I am on what somebody's broadcasting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I've got this particular addiction to that. And then the thing is, the way Instagram is set up on the phone is it's difficult to just look at the messages and not accidentally scroll a little bits, and then it's showing me bits of like Bruce
Yeah.
Lee and
Yeah.
like other comedians, and I mean not that Bruce Lee's a comedian, but you
And
know what I mean.
then,
Go on.
yeah. And then like someone you're friends with will send you a video and you're like, oh, well, I don't want to be rude. So I better watch that video.
Mm, mm.
And you watch the video and you're like, well, that was a second. Yeah. You like just flick up for no reason. You're like, oh, I'm on the next video and the next video.
Oh, well, it's just so they've made it so easy to like get,
Yeah.
and then the algorithms on the thing of like, okay, they spend this much time on this video and this much time on this video, and you've got these teams of like research scientists and engineers engineering it to like suck away your time. Yeah, and that's like, but I guess I sort of feel like, um, I I feel I don't want like when my time when I'm not on stage, I am loath to give that up to scrolling, but I'm very somehow happy to give that up if I'm having like a one-to-one interaction with one of
Yes.
my comedian
I,
friends or something. Yeah,
I've actually made friends after shows with audience members.
yeah,
A couple I still speak to a bit.
yeah.
Like I made friends with, like, and like we've gone out drinking and like
Oh,
had time.
great.
And that lovely. Um, I exchanged like Instagrams with some of them, so I like still see what they're up to, and they follow me back.
Yeah, that's great.
But I, I'm sure messaging one on one, the way you sounds lovely. Never had that
Mm,
personally.
mm, mm. Yeah, it was just
Um,
it's just a new thing starting. Well,
but
and it maybe helps us slide into our next question because I think that's whatever else is going on. You know, it's the human connection, right?
yeah,
That's important. Which maybe takes us nicely into our third question, which is you know, asking about the people that have had the biggest impact on your life and comedy. And obviously, you mentioned you know various names from the circuit. You mentioned Russell Howard, but this is you know a chance to you know any other of the household name comedians or
household name ingredients. Um, this is going to be. There's loads of comedians I love growing up watching.
yeah,
Russell Howard being probably the first comedian that I watched growing up.
yeah,
Um, but as you do, like you're like, yeah, of course I think he's fantastic and all those things. I don't watch him as much now, but I did when I was younger.
yeah,
I think because I watched stand up so much as a younger, my things have my tastes have changed.
hmm
The best thing I've watched recently when I was in Edinburgh, I watched Stamptown, and I was like, this is amazing.
oh yeah,
Even though it's not really stand up, I was like, it's amazing
mm.
to watch it. Um, Probably the biggest impact was the podcast era
Oh
for
yeah,
stand up. Like when the Ricky Gervais podcasts
hmm
and all the the Joe Rogans and the Tom Skerritt's and the Americans they beat these big podcasts come out and everyone
yeah,
watches.
yeah,
As a like, teenager, I listened to a lot of podcasts
mm.
and again I don't listen to those podcasts now. You grow out of them. Like I did grow out. As the Joe Rogan podcast, I guess, started leaning right massively. I grew out of it, and like so, I don't know. A lot of them had impacts on me wanting to do stand up, hearing like what it's like being a stand up,
Mm,
all that
mm.
sort of stuff. But really, it would go like now more than ever. Like it goes back to like my friends who do stand up, like
Yeah,
Ollie, Ridwan, Callum, the list could go on.
hmm hmm
Um, like now and then, the teacher at college that told me to do it.
Oh
Uh,
really?
yeah, like a teacher at college told me to do stand up. He's like, go and stop making muck around in my class. Go do stand up.
Oh really? Was that sort of like that was he was sort of saying it in a sort of half joking sort of way, or you
Yeah, half joking, half not joking. My um, I had a teacher at one point tell me I was going to be like, you're either going to do politics, you're going to kill someone, and I was like, it's a wild thing to say to a child, you know,
oh my
like
goodness.
um, but like he like also was kind of nice. He was like joking with me about it. He was like,
Okay.
and I was, and I don't know, when I was at special school, they asked me to host the school talent show.
Hmm.
And then like that was the first thing I remember telling someone after I left special school, which was so funny that like, what's a talent show at a
Mm.
special school like?
Hmm.
Like, and I was telling them that like I've never done this for a show, but like telling them that we had three kids impersonating Michael Jackson,
Hmm.
doing Thriller three times.
Hmm.
And then we had a bunch of other things, but like just the love that these kids had for Michael Jackson
Right.
was just like, he's like, why was there Thriller? I don't know. I don't know. We said, you know, what do we want?
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I would say, if I would say who my favorite comedian is right now, Nate Bargatze. I think he's fantastic.
Oh, Nate Bargatze.
Bargatze,
I, I I don't know if I'm
Bargatze.
saying it right. I have a feeling when I've heard some Americans refer to him, they say Nate Bargatze, but maybe it's about Bargatze. Yeah, yeah. No, he's great.
He's my
I,
favorite, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, he is just I think his tone and his delivery, and then these
No, no swearing, unoffensive. You're just like, how have you written this well?
yeah. I actually remember that the one he does about Kmart. Have you seen?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, it's just great, isn't it? Oh, wonderful, wonderful stuff. Yeah, yeah. It's funny she's talking about the special school talent show. She reminds me of a story that I haven't thought of for a long time, which is my mother was a social worker and she worked at a sort of mental secure unit at one point, and they had a talent show, and I remember her telling me about what was really funny. There's like there was a group of sort of these guys who were clearly on quite a lot of drugs to sort of keep them calm, singing Pink Floyd's "We Don't Need No Medication." Remember my mother telling me that story a long time ago. But
That,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I should give my mum credit as well. Like my
Oh yeah.
mum's really funny. Like she's a fantastic storyteller.
Oh
Uh,
great.
and like yeah, like I have to give her credit for like teaching me how to tell stories and like putting hype, like you know, a bit of like I would go and watch stuff with her. Like I'd
Yeah.
see it, a story would happen, and then I'd hear her tell my dad's story, and I was like, well, "That's not what happened.
Ah.
That's not what happened at all. What do you mean?" And mum would be like, "Shh, okay, you know, like we've got to dramatize, make
Ah.
it a bit more fun."
Yeah. What
Mm.
is that? What have you? It's not. Is it elaborating stories or just like? No,
Um,
there's
hyperbole, a bit of hyperbole.
hyperbole. Is there a phrase for storytelling? Oh, this is like I'm maybe just chasing a phantom in my mind. I feel like there's a phrase there where it's like it was poetic license, I guess, or is there a narrative
Yeah,
license?
poetic license, definitely.
Poetic license, narrative license. Anyway. Yeah, yeah. Cool, cool. Brilliant, brilliant. Well, fantastic. Shall we go on to our penultimate question then, which is about how do drugs affect your perception of reality? And as many listeners will have heard on the show before. I mean, by drugs, I mean any substance, which could be, like, ADHD medication. It could be alcohol, could be, heroin, as Andy Zapp talked to us about in his wild experiences in the '60s. Yeah, like drugs, people think, oh, we mean illegal drugs, but there's all sorts of substances that are kind of, some people have been on the show talking about their struggles with fast food. Like all these different substances that you can put
Yeah.
into your body. How do you cope with them? Even the digital. I mean, we kind of covered the digital ones already, but yeah. And before we start, of course, as all the listeners, and particularly to I've forgotten, is it Nigel? Do be careful out there. With what substances you put in your body. You never know what's going to happen. But yeah, for you, Adam, what's is your body a temple, or do you let everything?
No, well, like I work outdoors. I'm always outdoors. So, um, thanks to me, I'm not like in any terrible shape of any sort. But like, I do love a drink. And it is like sometimes can be a problem. I have gone on stage maybe a couple times a bit too drunk.
Uh-huh.
Bit too like, whoa, wait, we need to calm down a little bit. Um, and so yeah, like I would say that drink alcohol it would be the my drug of choice
Hmm.
for going for a high always. Um, I've never done stand up on any other drug.
Mm.
Um, although like you're often offered drugs. I feel like I'm offered drugs a lot of
Hmm.
stand often by members of the audience afterwards.
Oh, really?
Like, oh, you're fun. And like I yeah, I would say the like I'm definitely in the. A lot of people assume as well I smoke weed because of my long hair and
Mm,
like work outdoors and stuff like that. And I was like, I have smoked weed, but I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm the biggest weed smoker in the world. I don't
mm,
smoke weed very regularly, and I could not imagine having that form of anxiety on stage as
right.
well as normal anxiety.
My goodness, no.
You know, weed anxiety and anxiety be crazy. Um, so I give props to anyone who can do it, but yeah, no, I would say if I'm going out to a show I haven't been before, especially, and I don't know the people there, I'll
Mm,
definitely have a drink just to make myself normal to talk
okay.
to. Um, and I it probably got to a point at one point in my like second year of stand up
Mm,
where I hadn't done a show sober in a while, and I was like, "Fuck,
mm-hmm,
maybe I
mm-hmm,
need to calm down on the alcohol."
mm-hmm.
Um, uh, yeah, they're like the I'm trying to think of I was seeing a girl at one point, and uh, I remember coming back from a gig we did, and she drove me there, and I leant out the car and I threw up all over the car. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, maybe you need to calm down before comedy gigs. So yeah, no, I think I'm probably better now. I'm like on a Friday night, no work the next day. I'll probably have quite a few drinks after the show with comedians.
Yeah,
But it's become my social life comedy. Like that's as sad
yeah.
as it is. I've got
Mm-hmm.
loads of friends outside stand up, which I see like now for a catch up. But
Mm-hmm.
because I kind of try and do at least 6 gigs a week,
Right.
I'm like, I guess I'm hanging out with this lot, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's only so many times you can invite your friends to come and see you do
Oh yeah.
stand
Yeah.
before you're like, this is the only time you want to see me, and you're like, no. And I work a lot of weekends with my actual job.
Right.
So I end up having like Tuesdays off or
Mm.
Wednesdays off. And it means you're like, okay, what am I doing tomorrow? Nothing. So you're like,
Mm.
oh, I'll have a drink with these guys. They don't have any job. They don't have a job either.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I've had a weird experience. I don't think I've had the worst experience with drugs and stand up. But yeah, I know some people that have got they're like, oh, we have crazy stories, but you're
Yeah.
like,
Sounds like you've kind of kept it under control. Although it's interesting you mentioned the 6 gigs a week. I mean, is the stand up itself kind of an addiction that you're feeding? Would you say?
probably, yeah. I just want to be good at it. So I think the
Yeah,
people I know that are the best gig the most.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I did 9 gigs in the last 7 days,
That's great.
which is I mean it's yeah. I mean it's not my regular. That's kind of like when I have a festival at the weekend and so on, and
Mm.
I usually try and insert some more breaks. But there is like I had planned to take Thursday off, and then this there was an option for the Gong Show, and I was like. It's like you plan not to do it, and then you
When
find
you have
yourself
an
in,
option to do something, and you're like, oh.
you get sucked back in. It's
I yeah, I think like six is like I'm happy with six.
yeah.
Well, I'm happy with five. Four, I feel like I've been a bit lazy. I'll get like a sense of
Mm,
guilt.
hmm
Three, I'll be like, what are you up to? What are you doing? Why have you done that? Like, what? Two, you're
mm.
like furious. So one, I'm like, oh my, no, if I had a week where I've been ill, I can give myself an excuse. But
Right, right. But yeah, as you say, wanting to get better, that definitely, I feel that urge driving me. I mean, yeah, it's just, I'm now sort of banging my head against at the moment. Like, it's so strange to be able to do like, a show at a festival. And I guess this is partly the answer is that people have like actually opted in to say, right, we're going to interested to see a show that this guy's going to talk about his experience in Japan. And then, yeah, they really enjoy me talking about my experience in Japan. But then, I'm up in a random comedy club talking about my experience in Japan, and people are maybe not. Yeah, it's like it's like, do I have to develop a different set for every fucking room? Anyway.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Going back to your like Instagram thing a bit, it's getting like people are getting subcultures are coming back again.
Mm, mm,
Like but I don't know. Like I think some like they. I think for I don't know. A lot of comedians I meet are very negative about stand up, and they're like, "Oh, people are getting this, people are getting that." I'm like, there is a place on the internet where you can go and find a group of people, and there are
Right.
tons of them that want to dress up as dogs.
Right. Right.
There'll be a group of people that want to hear you speak. You know.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So I just think it's like I don't think it's as big of a stress as it is it.
No, I mean, I think in that way, the internet broadly is an amazing thing. I mean, and that's I get this little tickle of this now, as I say, just making some connections with some people, and I'm doing Edinburgh this year, and hopefully I'll make some more connections. But yeah, like, and I've heard more experienced comedians talk about this of like the difference between doing gigs to their own audience, which is an audience that wants to see them, versus
Mm,
a random comedy club audience, and how different that
yeah.
is. And like, I mean, some of my favorite comedians are like Mark Maron and Carl Kinane, and I'm
Mm,
sometimes listening to what they're talking about, and I mean they are doing amazing things. But then sometimes, I mean, their specials that they've recorded, and some of the stuff that is being laughed at is just them saying something normal with a like particular turn of phrase. And but I think and I'm kind of like, what part of what is okay, right? They're doing these specials, and the people who've come to these specials are people who've come to see them, right? It's their
mm,
audience, and so the kind of the rules about what they're able to do are
mm.
different in those kinds of environments. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
It kind of leads back to the Gong Show thing again, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
to have the different stuff for
Different stuff to be
different
said.
audiences. Yeah, no, well, I think that's. I mean, yeah, it kind of brings me back to this kind of like right there. I mean, I guess it's a bit like kind of cross training. I mean, like if you're working out and you've got to do all the different muscles, there's all the different kinds of stand up. There's the one line stuff, there's the storytelling, there's all the different things, and you kind of you kind of need to get build up strength in each of the
Yeah.
different areas, and then be able to deploy them as needed. Yeah, yeah. But so it sounds like you say, drugs and substances haven't got particularly out of control in your life. Is there any sense in which they affect how you perceive the world? Like, do you see the world differently on alcohol or other drugs, or really you're just a sort of a
I
happy-go-lucky
would
guy and
say like
it all seems the
I'm I'm 24 and I've had some bad hangovers, but like I've never had a hangover that's like, mate, really, really I've never had a hangover where I can't leave the house, you know.
same? Mm,
So I feel like alcohol makes me more confident,
mm-hmm.
probably. Like I think that's the same with most people. But then there is a point where you're having a beer and it's like maybe even the first beer of the night, you're like, this isn't going to sit well.
Mm-mm.
Maybe I'm
Yeah.
out. So it can give either effect,
You
you know? I
No,
don't know
I
if you've
well,
had that thing where you're like, nope, not tonight, can't touch that.
yeah, no, I have had exactly that. I mean, I haven't. I've sort of been off the ever since I started doing. I guess it must be 4.5 years ago now. That I started doing comedy properly. I was like, because the first like as I've mentioned on the podcast before, the first three gigs I got so completely slammed afterwards. I was a bit like, if I'm going to carry on doing this, I'm going to have to wrap this
Yeah.
up. And for me, it's easier to like just not do it at all. So I mean, I now once a month I'll might have a glass of wine or something. But I've sort of done 4.5 years pretty much stone cold sober. But remember from many years of drinking is some nights it would be just like yep, and it would go down smooth, and like 1, 2, 3, 4 would just be a great experience. But sometimes that first drink of the night would just be kind of like yeah, and it
Yeah.
was like a lot of the time I think it is that like this particular kind of beer that I'm drinking or whatever it happened to be, or is that just me on that day? It's really weird how
Yeah.
I'm still not
I don't know
sure.
what it is, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get that once in a while. I'm just like, oh God. And then you look around, you're like, do I even want to be here? Why
Mm,
am I in this
mm,
room? I don't
mm.
like anyone in this room. And then on another day, you'd be like, I like everyone in this room. They're fine. You know.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? It's weird. Well, that maybe segues quite nicely into our final question, which is, what does it all mean, this life, this universe, this everything? 42, some people say, but and some people say this is the big question, it's an intimidating question. I don't know. I guess I'm old enough that I don't care about these things anymore. But like if you want to dodge the big question and just talk about what life means to you and what gets you up in the morning and what gives your life meaning, it's absolutely fine. But I'm also like we were with Callum. We found out what way the way he sees the world. But I'm really interested in understanding what your insight is into the big picture. Are we dreams in the mind of God? What's going
Um,
on, Adam?
well, saying there's no God is that's big a big statement, but I don't believe that. I don't believe in atheism. I don't believe in agnostic. I don't know what I believe in, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I did meet an atheist comedian
Oh yeah.
um, who had tattoos of atheism on either side, either shoulder.
Oh really?
Um, and Gabriel Madden, I don't know if you've met or you've seen, very funny.
Mm.
Said when the guy said, "I've got atheist tattoos," he went, "What? Nothing." Um, and I was like, "So, yeah, I'm guessing." Oh, the what is it? I think connection with people is pretty big.
Hmm.
I think the connection with animals, with nature, like as I said, I teach out windsurfing, so outdoors a lot.
Mm.
Seeing new places, meeting new laughter is like probably what I've put my like, and a lot of us put a lot of time into,
Mm.
and it may be one of the best emotions.
Mm.
Definitely up there, definitely up there on the list of emotions. But mirth, I guess you'd call the emotion of laughter.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, probably I don't know. I think I'm the happiest when I'm with friends.
Mm.
So for me, and I think the purpose is to make friends of life. I think that
Ah.
I can imagine the people with less friends are sadder. That I just
Yeah.
can't. There's no way I believe the people with less friends are happier.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I struggle to make friends, and I'm pretty sad. So it's yeah.
oh,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not that when I make jokes like that, my wife often complains and she says, don't say that in front of the kids because they'll feel sorry for you. And well, I kind of wanted the sympathy, but I mean, I do have friends. I'm just not. I don't know. I mean, I sort of traveled around a lot, and I kind of like lost contact with lots of people, and I'm strange.
oh yeah,
Lucky,
but that's I think this whole thing about old friends. You see, there's a lot of rap songs will say "no new friends," like no
No.
new friends. And you're like, what are you talking about?
Hmm.
I get that people they're trying to get in there and like used to them and stuff, maybe, but like I don't know. I think making a new friend is quite lovely. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And well, that's one of the things I'm really grateful to comedy for is that comedy has allowed me to meet loads of people that I think I would have really struggled to meet. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, same with me, hundred
yeah.
percent.
I mean, it's ironic that sometimes all the time we're spending together, we're kind of we're doing this weird thing where each person is spending 5 or 7 or 10 minutes telling us about some aspect of their life, and we're not hanging out in a group in quite the same way as when I used to make friends at university or what have you, and or college, and we would be
Mm,
it's a weird different kind of thing, but at the same time it's and now as time has gone on, and then doing the podcast, and now starting to what I really love about the festivals, when people do stick around, and they don't always, but they sort of you're in these sort of special places that are for performance and comedy, and you can actually kind
yeah,
of go for a
yeah,
drink afterwards in a
yeah,
way that, I mean, I think probably you younger guys, like after the Lion's Den. I mean, of course, you have to get there at 4:30, but
you're
I,
hanging around for how many hours and you're hanging around afterwards. Yeah, it's
yeah, and then you hang around afterwards, yes, and then as a work,
cafe mode's another one to talk about. Like
yes,
the hours I spent at cafe mode eating pizza afterwards with people
right,
was a big way of making friends and stuff like
yes.
that.
Yes, yes, yeah. When I sort of I look back, see, as a working father, I've had less
Less
flexibility
time
of
to
that. It makes me wish that in my yeah, 20s, that I mean, as many talked about in the podcast, I sort of tried to do a little bit of stand up and crashed and burned at 21, and thought, oh no, it's only a special magical few mystery people who can do this amazing thing, not realizing there was a craft, and you could practice, and you could
yeah, yeah.
but anyway, that's maybe in my next life I'll do that round again. But no, I love what you're saying there about purpose in life, to make friends. Wonderful. Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the God thing. I mean, for me, it just, yeah, the whole idea of anybody being atheist, or well, even, I mean, I just like, yeah, like anybody who's like really sure. I'm like, oh wow, you kind of know, I think
Yeah,
that you were
I'd
saying,
love
like
to know. I'd love to know
like it
somebody
would
like
be
that.
great to
Somebody
have
you
some
know?
sort of real insight, but like, yeah, I'm kind of like, who, I mean, who knows what the fuck is going on, really? I mean, the strangest thing to me, I get really obsessed with time recently, of like, it just is weird how we're always sort of like, we seem to be floating forwards through time. But like, Einstein talks about how like space-time is one thing, and like all the theories of relativity and stuff work on the idea that it's this kind of, like, it's one thing. But then, so the question, and it like kind of all time exists. So then there's a question of like, why do we seem to be moving forward through time? that kind of weirds me out. And I just wonder, is it some strange dream or simulation, or what is it that's going on? But I don't know. I guess
Mm.
it's sort of like
Yeah.
none of it
The
really. Go on.
time thing, like, I won't say what drug I had, but there was a drug that I took, and I was like, "Whoa, time's crazy,
Mm,
isn't it?" And you're staring, sitting at a clock, being like, "King, hell, this is going
yeah.
slowly." Which I'll never have that drug again because I had such a bad time looking at the clock. But
Mm,
yeah, you're
mm.
right. I completely forgot about that until you said time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Well, it's weird actually because I had an experience on a drug a very long time ago, where I was looking at a wristwatch and I couldn't work out what it was, and I was looking at it and I was like, I used to know what this was. I knew that I
yeah,
had known what it was, but my knowledge of and I was just looking at
yeah,
it purely independently. I was just sort of aware of it as the kind of like it was sort of like a gold relative sort of goldy kind of, and there were these different marks and the numbers or whatever, and I was just sort of grooving to the kind of like this is what it looks like, but I had no idea of the purpose of it. And it's really strange to look at things sometimes
yeah,
when the whole because we have this sort of like we have all this, we put all this meaning on things. Like, like if I look here, I've got, I happen to have a roll-on deodorant or empty thing in front of me. And like,
mm,
I can't really see it without all of the meaning that I sort of force onto it because of my knowledge and all of this, that, and the other. And sometimes I listen to a lot of Eckhart Tolle, and the
yeah,
idea is that like real peace would come if you can sort of put down all of your knowledge and understanding and just sort of be, man. But I'm
mm,
not getting
yeah,
much closer to there. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're a pretty, it sounds you're in a pretty good place there. You've been making friends, being
mm.
happy, just
Yeah,
enjoying
yeah.
the process. Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've always been like that. When I started stand up, I was jealous of everyone. I wanted to be the best. And it took me a long time to get over that. Like, probably like, at least 2.5 years.
Okay. Well, and I mean, it's interesting because, as I mentioned, I mean, I think I still suffer. I mean, I think because one of the reasons that I particularly try and avoid the scrolling on the Instagram is seeing other people's shows and successes and these sorts of things. I mean, like, I think I am genuinely happy for people that great things are happening for them, but I often find myself looking and wanting, I want, it's like, I think at some level, I want to be better. And when I'm like, it can push me into a kind of, I'm not getting any better. And that can be painful. And
Yeah. I think that's the thing I struggle with more than anything else. I want to be better. Am I getting better? How
mm,
can, without the little valifications that
yeah,
come from the other things, you can't get that. You don't get those feelings.
yeah.
And yeah, it's I don't know. I just I don't know. Once in a while, I'll get a nice thing that comes my way, and I'm like, ah,
Mm.
great. Like I did the Gaff in Bristol
Oh yeah.
recently, and
Mm.
it was fantastic. It was an amazing show.
Oh
Uh,
great.
Phoebe, who runs up the Gaff, and it's just the nicest place. I had such a lovely
Oh.
time.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, well, I must say, like over the years, I mean, you've been coming to Sunset, and so on, and I've been really impressed with your progression. I think your act is getting stronger and stronger, and to the fact that I'm like, oh, that's Well, I think what's interesting is that everybody's got their own thing. Like, I mean, I can look at Nicky G and say, oh, he's doing really well. I can look at Adam, say he's doing really well, but I know that I can't just do the things that you guys are doing. Like because like part of I think what's allowing people to get better is them getting in touch with the material that sounds right coming from them. And I think a lot of what I spend my time thinking about now is I need to find the material that's gonna like that people are gonna really like coming from me. And I think that can be a difficult process, right? Is trying to internally
Yeah,
get better.
yeah. And I don't I know your Japanese material, and I know some of like you when you used to watch AOE and you just like rambled and jumped around the stage. And I loved watching MC at Sunset once when you had all the big note, you had a notepad and you're going up and
Right,
going, what
right,
do you
right.
mean about this? Someone in the audience. Um, but yeah, it's so hard deciding what you want to talk about, and what you don't want to talk about.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, I don't know how it is being a father. It must be hard thinking about talking about kids, talking about having kids.
Yes, yes. Well, I think yeah, it's well, I've sort of got this plan in my head now for my next two shows after this current one, and the third one is going to be very, very heavily focused on kids. And I think what was interesting was watching some other comedians in the week doing well, and I think. yeah, one of the things that I noticed about one person's material who was very funny, it was all about like public transport of one kind or another, and
Mm.
it's just really relatable. And yeah, so this week I've moved into also like talking about being bullied at school, and I think yeah, yeah, I think talking about being a father, talking about experiences
It's
at
the
school and so
most
on.
common form of stand-up talking about being a parent,
Yeah, yeah,
possibly like the most one we see the most in like big media in the UK, but it's
yeah.
a memorable thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think the thing for me that I've struggled with for a long time is that I don't want to say the same things over and over again, and that's what I particularly enjoyed about emceeing and like as you saw me at Sunset is like I basically come with like different stuff each week and just be really enthusiastic and just go, and then there's a kind
Mm.
of like I'm not getting really solid polished material out of it, and I think what I'm realizing is to make progress at more established venues, I can't just come in and kind of go. "Whoa," with whatever I'm thinking about that day. I need to
Yeah,
have like, I need to have like a
I think
really honed, polished thing.
that's the other thing is like it took me a long time to like if you can figure out what's like I have a few jokes in my set that like they're not jokes, but because the other jokes went before it,
Mm,
that are jokes, I can
hmm.
just say something and it sounds funny.
Yeah, right. Yes. Yes, yes.
Mm. So maybe that's lazy writing, or maybe that's get trying to get away with it. You know?
Well, or I think there's also, I think somehow if you're able to win the whatever audience it is over onto your side, and like they're clear who you are, which I think is one of the things like that you and Nikki and others are doing on stage. And then they're just kind of almost interested in the continuation of you,
Yeah.
right? And so then sort of really simple things can be funny, and that's and then who cares, right? Because you've won them over, and then they're kind of in your world, and you're all having fun and playing together. It's
Mm.
yeah, I mean, yeah, go on.
I haven't seen your stand up in a while, but I don't think worrying about what you want, like I think talk about what you want to talk about more than anything else, and it
Yeah,
will become funny because you wanted it to be funny more
yes,
than
yes.
more than thinking about how what do they want me to talk about? Because I've never done that.
Mm, mm.
I
Well,
don't do. I talk
I don't know.
about
It's probably because I do these talking about the technology I do this virtual. I like 2 nights a week. I do like 50 minutes on stage talking about 5 random thoughts from my day. So I do like like nearly 2 hours every week talking just randomly about whatever I like to talk about. And it's I guess the yeah no I think you're definitely right. I've got to talk about what I want to talk about. I think I've also got to choose stuff to stick with. I mean, I'm kind of in awe to people like Ross Noble and Rory Scovel who can do these kind of, they've reached a level where they can just sort of like talk about whatever and they can like, they're all doing kind of like improv stand up. I mean, I
if
think
you
that
could, yeah, if you could make the time stuff, how you find time palatable, it's making what you want to talk about palatable.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I'm rereading Adam Bloom's book again now. I don't know if you've read.
Yeah, I
Um,
listened to it.
oh,
Yeah,
the audio book.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's well, but again, it comes back to that I want to get better. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Seinfeld, I think is quite because he like he's someone that just like really understands the basics.
yes.
Tom Noack told me that. I don't know if you know Tom.
Mm,
Tom Noack. He's a really funny guy.
name sounds familiar, but yeah, go on.
Him and Alessio Carducci. Alessio, another very funny comic from Australia. They're both
Yeah.
Australians. Um, they were like talking about Seinfeld and like if you go back to the basics when you're trying to write a joke,
Mm.
it really helps. Also, having someone else to spit stuff off with, like, why
Mm,
is this funny? What do you think about here? This, and this. And you're like, it's always really handy.
yeah,
Talking
yeah,
to other comedians is what helps.
yes. Well, that's another thing I'm quite grateful for. With now that we're running multiple nights and delegating out to a few different people. I've got like a sort of the collection of folks who help me run the nights, and we've got little groups where we knock comedy ideas around together,
Mm.
which is really nice. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good stuff. Well, Adam, it's been a great chat. Thanks so much for making the time. I think our one listener Nigel is going to be like pounding the table in front of him, wanting to know where he can see you doing comedy these 6 nights a week.
I'm all over. I haven't got anywhere in particular to promote, but I will say if they don't get on, I'll big up my friends. So Ollie and Ridwan.
Mm.
who's saying running they're doing a split show in Edinburgh this year,
Mm.
and I should have asked Ollie before what I'm opening for Ollie at a festival next weekend on the 6th,
Okay,
but
cool.
I can't remember what the festival is. I know it's on the Kent coast.
Right, right. Well,
Um,
we can get a link to it in the show notes,
I
and
will ask him for a link,
yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
I don't know where that is, and I should have asked before.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, there's hopefully stuff to come. Stuff
Yeah.
to come. I'm all over the place. There's nowhere I would say see me here.
Yeah,
Uh,
just get out there. Just get out
just
there
get
as
out
much as
there.
possible,
Yeah,
and you will
loads of live
encounter
comedy.
Adam. Yeah,
Uh,
brilliant.
you'll find me.
And we'll get your Instagram maybe in
Yeah,
the show notes so people can follow you. Do
yeah,
you want to just
definitely.
say that what's the
Adam underscore Cleveland 66.
there you go. Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone. And remember, you can help support comedians on technology, people, and drugs by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts. I believe they've taken it up to like 7,456 stars now. So if you could go that far for us, we'd appreciate it. And also by following us on Spotify, where you can ask questions and add comments, which we love. We love seeing, we love hearing from you. And of course, following us there, helps the algorithm get our podcast into more people's brains. And we look forward to being in all of your ears again soon. Last word to our fantastic guest, Adam Cleveland.
I'm not worried about AI in the lens of stand up because the live show will always be the best form of it.